Yes, Shushmita.
On behalf Department of Computer Science, we extend our warm welcome to all for this DBT Star sponsored webinar. I call Ms. Sushmita from second year Computer Science for prayer song.
सरस्वती नमस्तुभ्यं वरदे कामरूपिणी विद्यारम्भं करिष्यामि सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा सिद्धिर्भवतु मे सदा.
Now I call Dr. B. Jayanti, Head Department of Computer Science, to give away the welcome address. Ma'am.
Good evening. Good evening to one and all. I would like to thank our Managing Trustee, sir, for his continuous support. My sincere thanks to our Principal, sir, Vice Principal, sir, and our College DBT Coordinator. It's my pleasure to welcome our today's speaker, Dr. Shamila from Karunya University. I'm really happy for accepting our invitation in your busy schedule. Once again, I welcome you all. I would like to welcome our directors, Dr. Christopher sir, Dr. Yamini ma'am, and all HODs, Dr. Suganya ma'am, Dr. Padma Priya, Dr. Mageshwari ma'am, Dr. Grace ma'am, welcome you all. Extending my warm welcome to all the faculty members. My special welcome to my dear students. Once again, I welcome you all.
Thank you, ma'am. Now I call Dr. Santana Mehala, Assistant Professor, BCA, to give introduction to Chief Guest.
Thank you. I'm happy to take the opportunity to introduce our Chief Guest, Dr. A. Shamila Ebenezer, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Karunya Institute of Technology and Sciences, Coimbatore. She is having 17 years of teaching experience in computer science and engineering. She had published more than 15 research papers in the reputed journals. She is in charge of IBM Big Data Software Center of Excellence in Karunya Institute of Technology and Sciences. She was worked in data analytics project at Sinakran, Pune during the period of May-June 2019, sponsored by Karunya Institute of Technologies and Sciences. Her area of expertise were artificial intelligence, machine learning, data science, big data analytics, grid computing, IBM Big Insights, Netezza Data Warehouse, R, Python, and Power BI. She has completed many certification courses from various concerns such as Artificial Intelligence Engineer Master's Program from Simplilearn, Database Administrator Associate from Oracle, Hadoop Fundamentals and Map Reducing Program from IBM Big Data University. She is certified as EMC Squared Academic Associate in Data Science and Big Data Analytics. She also got certification in Deep Learning with TensorFlow, Data Science using Python, and Advanced Machine Learning. She has organized 24 hours hackathon in association with IBM thrice in Karunya Institute of Technology and Science. She has guided more than 20 projects in the area of data analytics, machine learning, image processing, IoT, and grid computing. She offered many training sessions for student development, such as Oracle certification training, hands-on training on IBM Big Insights for data analytics, and pure data analytics for using IBM Netezza. She also offered placement training sessions on topics database management system and operating systems. Now, I request our chief guest, Dr. A. Shamila Ebenezer, to address the gathering to share her precious knowledge to our dear students. Welcome, ma'am.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you for your warm welcome. I'm glad to be amongst you, among the youngsters, sharing the knowledge. So, as requested, today I will be sharing on data analysis using Excel. So, just give me a second, I will share my screen. Okay. So, can someone confirm whether my screen is visible? My
Yes,
PPT
ma'am.
is
It's visible. It's
yes.
visible, madam.
Yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for the information, ma'am. So, good evening, everyone, all the young minds. Today, I will be covering upon data analysis using Excel. Okay, so within the given 1 hour, uh, my focus will be on. I will be just introducing you what is basically analytics. Okay, I heard that you're all mostly from second year, so I will be just giving a short introduction on what is analytics and where analytics is used. And then I will be giving some hands-on session on how to perform formatting and how to use Excel functions for descriptive analytics. Following which we'll be having a session on dashboarding. Okay, so how can we create good interactive dashboard? And I will be explaining about the dashboards. Okay, and then I will be concluding the session. So this is what is my plan for today. Cover it up within this given 1 hour. Okay. So Excel has lots of functionalities. I may not be able to cover everything, and whatever is required for you, I will be covering it. Okay. So what is analytics? So it is a process where you examine the raw data to draw some meaningful information, meaningful insight from it. Okay, to get some sense out of it. So assume that you're being appointed in Amazon as a data scientist. Okay, uh, you're appointed in Amazon or any company for as a data analyst. Okay, so they're just giving you. See, these are all the records. Okay, now you have lots of Excel sheets which has the sales for every product on every day. You have huge data. Okay, now what is analytics? Is basically you have some raw data. Now you have to draw some insight. You have to extract some insight out of the raw data. Okay. So how was the sales in this particular area, and how what was the sales during the summer, winter, during different seasons, among different age groups, among different genders. So you're trying to draw some insight out of the raw data. Okay, so this process, it is a scientific process. Okay, so this process wherein you're trying to derive some insight from the raw data is analytics. Okay, so now that you've got lots of data, huge data which is being populated from several sources. So when you mine the data and when you try to draw some insight out of it, it will be giving you an enablement, okay, an improvement in your business, not only in the business, in various areas. Okay, so analytics is not only used in a business perspective, it is used in sports. Okay, for example, in cricket, they use analytics. Then in business, then in healthcare. So if you take now in the recent past pandemic, they use analytics to estimate how the virus has spread and what is the age group to which the virus has spread and for which age group the mortality is high. Okay, so many analysis has been done. And government, so you would have heard about stories about how Trump has got the presidency during the last tenure, okay, again based on analytics and finance, okay, predict the stock market. These are all two areas where analytics is used. Okay, it's not just in the business; everywhere they use analytics. Okay, so why do we actually need analytics? What is the goal of analytics? So the main goal is, if you take business, to improve the business. If you take healthcare, yeah, to come out with a new drug or analyze, okay, improvise the business, gain some knowledge from the data, okay, based on the trends, based on the previous information, gain some information that you can improvise, you can make some corrections, and you can improve on, okay, and go forward. So that's the reason why you do this analysis. So if you take in the business perspective, yes, to improve the business and to for more profit. If you take in the perspective of healthcare, yeah, to bring out new to discover new drugs. If you take in perspective of education, yeah, how to improvise the children like in different areas of study. Okay, so we can use analytics in different areas. Okay, so what do we do actually in analytics is you take the historical data, okay, and try to analyze trends of the past, okay, how it was in the past, and then try to understand what could have been the cause of this particular thing, okay. So assume like, take for example, the current pandemic, like how it has increased, okay, the trend, and you just try to understand what should be the cause of this pandemic, okay, and how it has been spread, okay. Likewise, the same thing can be used in different perspectives. How a product sale has been in the past, okay, and what are the parameters that has affected the sale of a particular product, okay, and which region. So you evaluate all these and try to make some corrective actions. Okay, that's basically analytics. So there are four distinct types of analytics. Firstly, the basic one is the descriptive analytics, and then diagnostic analytics, and then predictive analytics, then prescriptive analytics. Okay, so when we say analytics, these are the basic four types of analytics that you should know. Descriptive analytics. So what is descriptive analytics is it explains what has happened. So it is about the past. So like you're sitting and discussing about the sales. Okay, like what was the sales last month? Okay, what was the sales during the quarter, previous quarter? Okay, you're discussing about the past. Okay, how was the sales in a particular region? Okay, how was the sale for a particular employee? These are all descriptive analytics, which is based on the past. Okay, diagnostic analysis. So here, this analysis is where you're trying to identify why it happened. Okay, why does this? Why there was a decline in sales in this particular region? Okay, why there is a sudden break of a pandemic in this particular region? Okay, you're trying to identify the reason based on the data. Okay, that is diagnostic analysis. And predictive. So predictive is what could happen. Like if this is the case, now in 1 or 2 months, the death rate would be increasing to around 75%. You would try to predict what will be the future. Okay, if this is okay, this is the trend. Okay, then the sales would be going down in the coming month. Okay, you're trying to predict. Okay, so trying to predict whether a person will have a particular disease or not, trying to predict whether a team will win the match or not. Okay, these are all predictive analytics. The last one is prescriptive analytics. So prescriptive analysis talks about what should happen, like what you could do. Like when you go to a doctor, if doctor gives you prescription, no? Likewise, what is that you can do to sort out the issue? Okay, so it gives suggestions on how to handle things. Okay, we have not gone in that stage of prescriptive analytics. We are currently on predictive analytics, most probably. Okay, so these are the four types of analytics: descriptive, where you study about the past data and just try to understand what's happening. Diagnostic, They're trying to find out the root cause of a problem. Predictive, what would be the future, and prescriptive is about uh, what are the suggestions to improvise. Okay, so most probably we'll be covering the descriptive part of it today. Being the second, yes, I would be covering the descriptive analytics. Okay, so this is the simplest class of analytics wherein you have huge chunk of data and then you are just splitting it into smaller pieces and trying to just give appropriate information. Okay, so assume that the entire college marks sheet is given to your principal. Your principal will not be able to understand, will not have time to sit and understand everything. Rather, if a gist of it is given, say for example, sir, 50% of the students has got more than 90%, and 50% of the students have got more than this grade, okay, and around 30% has failed in this particular subject. So if you give some compact gist of information, then he would get better insight within a short interval of time, and he can take some right decisions. Okay, rather than giving a big worksheet to his hand, okay, descriptive analysis is where you're just extracting relevant information and giving it to the higher officials for taking better decisions. Okay, it's a brief synopsis of what happened. Fine. So that's the reason why you would have seen after every internal exam, your teacher would send a report. Okay, it will not have the marks of all of you. They will just send the pass percentage, the mean, the standard deviation, the higher officials. Okay, that says how was the result during the previous internals. Okay, so that is called as descriptive analysis. That is analysis on the past data. So some of the examples for descriptive analytics are how many different segments of buyers are we dealing with? What are these buyers? Where are these buyers located? What are the regions in which they are located? So how do high value customers differ? What aspects they differ? And what are their interests? Okay, what is the income? What is the age? So you're just breaking down and doing all these analysis based on the sales. Okay, so this is all coming under descriptive analytics. So as I said, diagnostic analysis is trying to identify the root cause of a problem. Why the sales have gone down? Okay, why the sales of ice cream has gone down? Yeah, due to the weather conditions, it has gone down. You're trying to identify the root cause behind a particular parameter. Okay, that is diagnostic analysis. And predictive is, as I said, it is forecasting what might happen in the future. Okay, that is probabilistic. And prescriptive is for helpful for decision making. So it is used in several aspects of our daily life. As I said, the business people, they use it for customer analytics, okay, financial analytics, performance analytics, risk analytics. So they just use this customer analytics to understand what are the age group they customers belong to, what is the income group. Okay, so based on that, they provide offers. If you see the telecom companies, they give offers. Okay, likewise, if you see the retail shops, they give offers. If you see the yeah, e-com websites like Amazon and Flipkart, they give suggestions, recommendations in your site. Okay, it's all based on understanding the customer. Okay, what is your previous buy and what are your interests? What is your purchase strategy? Based on that, they perform customer analytics and take decisions. Okay, they give offers exclusively for you so that you will be attracted and they will gain more profit. And then if you take in telecom companies, most probably they use for retention of their customers. Okay, and then for financial analytics, like take for example, in bank sectors, whether to give a loan for a person or not. So they can use analytics for predicting whether a person will be paying his loan in a proper way. Okay, so based on the previous customer data, they analyze what are all the features. Okay, if a person is having a regular income and if his family size is so and so, if he has a house of his own, then most probably he will pay his due on time. Okay, so they analyze all these data based on the previous old data, and then they decide whether to sanction loan for a person or not. Okay, so they try to understand in based on the previous data. Okay, and for HR, they can they in order to analyze their performance of their employees. Okay, HR can use for performance analytics, and then risk analytics. Same example has been can be taken. Okay, so these are several application areas where analytics can be used. Okay, so this is the theory part what I wanted to cover. Now a short quiz time we'll have. So I was talking about four types of analytics. That is descriptive, prescriptive, diagnostic, and predictive. Okay. So if you don't mind, I'll ask three questions. It's just to understand how much you're following. Can someone say what like you in the Arogya Sita, who you have a status, no? Which state has how many infected, how many are surviving, and how many has recovered. You're having some statistics on the Arogya Sita app, no? What kind of analytics is it? Can someone say? Or you can put it in the chat window as well. In Arogya Safe app, you have. I hope that most of you would have installed it in your mobile phone. You have information about every state, how many have been infected, how many have been recovered, and what is the current number of patients with them. Okay, you have some statistics over there. What kind of analytics it is? Is it descriptive or prescriptive or predictive or diagnostic? Let me see one answer. Anyone? Any one of you? Am I audible?
Yes, ma'am, it's audible.
Yes. Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. So anyone, you can put it in the chat window as well. Can anyone just give me tell me what type of analytics is it? While you see while you are seeing cricket matches, okay, so you would see the run rate, and at this point of time, what was the score for the other team? Okay, you would have seen all those things. Now, what type of analytics is it? What is the speed at which he's throwing the ball? What type of analytics is it? Is it descriptive or predictive or diagnostic or prescriptive? Okay, fine. So that's descriptive analytics. Okay, that comes under descriptive analytics. Fine. Now, if you try to find out the reason, okay, try to find out the reason for the spread of corona, then that would come under diagnostic analysis. That would come under diagnostic analysis. Okay, and if you try to predict what will be the what will be during the month of January, what would be the number of cases for corona? Okay, then that will be predictive analysis. Okay, so the last one is if you can give some suggestions on what measures, okay, you can take, what medications you can take to come out of corona. That is prescriptive analysis. You got it? So descriptive is the one which you see in Arogya Setu app. Okay, and you're trying to identify who is the reason, whether China or India, who is the root cause for the spread of corona. That is diagnostic analysis. And the next one is if you try to predict what would be the number of cases during the next month, during the next year, that is predictive analytics. And if you try to suggest some options for recovery, that is prescriptive analytics. Okay, so that is what I was talking about bring the previous few slides. Okay, so analytics is basically getting some raw data and presenting it so that people will get some idea out of it. Okay, raw data will not have any information. When you try to process it and present it in a better manner, then people can get some insight out of it. Okay, so that is basically analytics. Fine. So now we'll get into some of the hands-on session. Okay. So I've given an introduction on analytics. Now we are going to see some hands-on with analytics, okay, with Excel basically. So you hope you have worked with this Excel. I will be describing two things over here: formatting and how to use functions in Excel. Okay. So why formatting is? Formatting helps you so that it gives a better interpretation for the user. Okay, so if you perform formatting, okay, there are different techniques available in Excel. So when you format the data and present it, it gives a different perspective and it gives easy understanding, okay, of the data. So we'll see how we can perform formatting. So we'll go for conditional formatting. Now conditional formatting, it helps us visualize the data and to make worksheets easier to understand. Okay, so there are, we can use colors, icons, data bars. Okay, using all these, you can format the data so that the worksheet can be better understood by the user. Okay, for example, you can do conditional formatting like if the value is greater than 5000, color the cell yellow, and if it is less than 5000, color the cell in different colors. Okay, so take for example, your teacher is trying to show your principal that uh, uh, sir, this is the marks sheet of the first internal exam. Okay, so around 300 students are there. Suddenly, the principal cannot quickly go through that and know how many have failed. Okay. Rather, if you do some kind of conditional formatting, then it would be easy for him to understand. Okay. So we'll just take some examples. So assume here this is a sales table. So you want to show the manager, okay? You want to show the manager about the sales. So if you just go and show this table, it is really tiresome to look into the table and understand the table. Rather, when you perform some kind of conditional performing, it will be easy to understand. Okay. So now we'll just highlight those data where the sale is above 7,000. Okay. So how can we do that is we can perform conditional formatting. Okay. So there's something over here in the home tab. You see there's something called as conditional formatting in the styles window. So you just choose the column which you want to conditionally format, and you want to highlight, okay, all those values which are greater than say 7,000. Okay, so how do you want to highlight? You want to highlight it with the light red fill with the dark red text, or however you want. Okay, you can make a custom format also. So just give yellow, okay, a green fill with dark green text, okay, and just give okay. So this gives all the sales which was uh, greater than 7,000, okay, the sales which are all greater than 7,000. So same example, when your teacher wants to show all those who failed, so she can just select this column and give highlight all those values less than 50. Okay, so that will give a better perspective of your data. So when the principal looks at the data, he just can look and see totally how many have failed in a particular subject. Okay, likewise, when you perform a conditional formatting, it gives a better understanding of the data. Okay, so there are options in Excel for performing conditional formatting. So once it is highlighting, okay, So where you can highlight based on greater than rule or less than rule or between. So when you want to highlight those cells which are between two values, you can use this, okay, equal to, or text that contains a date occurring between, okay, so or duplicate values. So you want to know whether there is any duplicate record. So you just click highlight all those duplicate records. So it will highlight all those duplicate records. Okay. So this gives a better understanding of the data. Now, what are the other things that you can do? Okay. There are presets like inbuilt functions where you have data bars, color scales, icon sets. Okay. Now, data bars are horizontal bars which are added to each cell. Okay. It's much like a bar graph. So you can just, so here you have profit loss. Okay. You want to know how far it is greater or smaller. So you can directly add the data bars to this column. Okay. So there's something called as data bars over here. So when you give data bars to it, so you can see that based on the value of this column, you get different bars. Okay. So the highest value has a high bar. Okay. And the lowest one has a lower value bar over here. Okay. So this again gives a better understanding of the data, how far it is higher, how far the sales is higher or lower than the compared to the other values in the column. Okay. Again, there's something called as color scales. Okay, this is again inbuilt function. So you can use color scales uh, for highlighting. You have color scales that will change the color of each cell based on its value. Okay, so all those values which are near 3000 will be having same color. All those values which are around 1000 will be having another color. Okay, so according to the values, the color will be assigned, okay, to the cells. So that's another way of doing it. So here you could see values which are around 1000 is having red color. Values around 3000 is having something like a green color. Okay, it's a mix of green and yellow. So you can give this color bar to understand how far it is increasing or different from the other values. Okay. Now there's something called as icon sets. Okay. In conditional formatting, there is something called as icon set. Now, icon set add a specific icon to each cell based on its value. Okay, so you can add an icon. Maybe color also will be confusing, you know. So you just want to know whether the profit has increased or decreased, or it is just average. Okay, you want to know whether it has increased or decreased, or it is average. So you can use this kind of icon set. So assume that you can use this icon set. Uh, so here you have three arrows. Okay, just click that. So here you could see that there is a down arrow, there is a side arrow, and there is a up arrow. Now by default, if you see uh, all the values above 67% will be yellow color, and those value which is below 33 will be red color, and the rest of the others will be green. Okay, but you can also set your value. So assume that we want to keep it like values between below 1000. Okay, you make it as red. Okay, I'll just take it up. So here you want not a percentage, but the values. Okay. And just choose the next column for better understanding. So just click that. And now you want to give your own formula. Okay. Now you want to give values, not the percentage. So just click this and give number. Click this and give number. Okay. Now when the value is greater than, the sales is greater than 8,000, you give an icon stating that it has increased. Okay. When it is less than some 4,000, then you indicate it with an icon. Okay. Rest of the others will be down. So you could just give okay, okay, and accordingly it will be increased. Okay. You could see all those values which are greater than 8,000 has an up arrow, has an up arrow, and all those value which is below 4,000 has a down arrow, and all those values which are in between 4,000 and 8,000 has a side arrow. Okay. So just a look at it will indicate whether the sales has increased or decreased, or it is on an average. Okay. Just a look on it gives. So these kinds of conditional formatting will help to get a better insight out of the data. Okay. Or you want to know, like take for example, you want to know all those records. Okay. Who has got, I will just clear everything. Clear it. Now you want to know all those rows where the sales is greater than 4,000. Okay, those rows where the sales is greater than 4,000. All those salesmen who has got more than 4,000 net sales. So how do we do that? Again, conditional formatting. You can click new rule. Use a formula to determine which cells. I have to select it first. Just select the complete data, conditional formatting, new rule, and now here you're going to use a formula to determine which cells to format. So if the value of sales, okay, if the value of sales is greater than 4,000, condition is true and exactly matching, then you have to format it by filling the cell with green. Okay. So all those records where the sales is greater than 4,000, here you could see it is filled with green. You got it? So these are different types of conditional formatting what you can perform so that it gives a better insight for your manager to understand the data quickly. Okay, so this is one option which is available in Excel for providing better understanding of the data. Again, it comes under descriptive analysis. Okay. Now, so we have seen how to use data bars, color scales, and icon sets under conditional formatting. Okay. Now, there are several functions as well, okay, which can be used for performing descriptive analysis. So there are logical functions, statistical functions, mathematical functions. So first we look into lookup functions. So there are two types of lookup functions, VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. So this lets you to search for a specific information. So assume that you want to know what is the sales of a particular person or particular area. Okay, so you have a worksheet with around 10 lakh records. Searching over there and finding out is very difficult. Okay, so in that case we can go for VLOOKUP. So most probably when in our university, why we look, sometimes I use lookup. Okay, because whenever I wanted to know who are all the list of mentors, so we'll have a list where there are list of students and list of mentors. So whenever I wanted to know who are all the mentors for a given set of students, I go for VLOOKUP. So when you want to look up a bigger table to understand what are the values, you go for VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP. So I'll take an example. So here you could see you have a order table So it has order ID column, product sold, salesman, net sales. Okay. Now we look up its vertical lookup when the table is in a vertical format. Okay. Now assume that you wanted to identify what is the net sales of a particular order. What is the net sales of a particular order? Okay. So how do you identify? Here, this has lots of rows. So going throughout the rows and trying to get it is not. You have to drag up. You have to go down and identify Control F and do all those stuff. Okay. So I just wanted to know what is the lookup to this bigger table to identify what is the net sale for this order ID. So how do we do that? So we have to use a function called VLOOKUP. Okay. So whenever you want to use a function, you have to use equal to sign, and the function is VLOOKUP. So this is for tables which are of vertical form. Okay. Now what is that you want to look up? Look up value. So you want to look up the order ID. Okay, order ID is what you want to look up. So you want to find out this order ID and what is the corresponding net sales for this order ID. Okay, so lookup value is given over here. Now from where do you want to find out? From this table array, isn't it? So you just choose this array. Okay, this array of data. And which index has the value? The net sales is what you want. So it is 1, 2, 3, 4. The fourth column is what you want, isn't it? And whether you want a approximate match or exact match, you want exact match. Okay, you want to match order ID exactly with the order ID column. So here you have to give false for exact match. You got it? So this will give you the net sales of order ID 1121. Okay, you want to find out the order net sales of order ID 1124. You give 1124 over here. It gives the net sales of order ID 1124. You want to find out the sales of 1128. You give the order ID over here and you get the net sales. Okay, so this is when the table is in a vertical form. You can use VLOOKUP format, VLOOKUP function. Okay, so VLOOKUP is to basically look up from a bigger table, look up a particular value from a bigger table. Okay, when the table is of a vertical form. Okay, the format is VLOOKUP and the value what you want to look up, within which range you want to look up, and what is the index value. So here there are 4 columns. You want to know the 4th column value, and false represent that you want to exactly match this 1128 with this 1128. It's not approximate match, it is exact match what you want. Okay, that is VLOOKUP function. Same way, see here the same table is given in a horizontal fashion. Now when the table is in a horizontal fashion, then you have to go for HLOOKUP. All the other parameters are same. HLOOKUP, the parameter what you want to look, in what range you want to look. So you want to look in this range, and which column. Okay, you wanted to value from the 4th column, and you want a exact match. So false or 0 represents exact match. Okay, so that is with VLOOKUP and HLOOKUP. Whenever you're asked to find out what is the sales of Adam or for this particular product, okay, you can go for this VLOOKUP or HLOOKUP function. Okay, that's available in Excel. Okay, there are many other statistical functions as well. Okay, SUMIFs, COUNTIFs, percentile, quartile. There are many statistical functions that are also available in Excel to analyze and understand data. Okay, so we'll see some statistical functions. So here you have sales data. Now you want to find out the, see you have so many salesmen over here. Okay, now you're asked to find out the sales of a particular person. Okay, you want to find out what is the sales of, so around the year, what is the sales of Justin? How much sales has he done throughout the year? You want to give incentive for him, you have to find out what is the sales for him for throughout the year. Okay, so how do you identify how much sales he has done throughout the year? Okay, there are other ways of doing it as well, but there are simple ways which has inbuilt functions. So there's a function called as SUMIF. Now, what is this SUMIF function? Is it calculates the sum of cells based on certain criteria. So it calculates the sum, okay, of cells which satisfy a particular criteria. Now you want to find out sales of only Justin. Okay, you want to find the sum of sales of Justin. So how do you write a formula for that? It is SUMIF. Okay, you have to give SUMIF, SUMIFs, and the sum range. So what is that you want to sum? Okay, you want to sum the net sales, isn't it? So you give net sales, sum range, okay, and criteria range. So you want to check Justin's name in which criteria? Under the salesman criteria, isn't it? So you have to choose the salesman criteria. Okay, and what is the criteria? Criteria is that the name should be Justin, isn't it? So you just click Justin and you got it. So you want to find out the sum of net sales. Okay, if the criteria salesman is Justin. Okay, so this is the sales of a salesman Justin. So you want to find out what is the sales of Adam. Give Adam over here. It gives the sales of Adam. Okay, so sum if is a function which will find the sum of all those cells which satisfy a particular criteria. Okay, so which column you want to sum, you give here. From which criteria you want to check, you give next. And what is the condition, you give last. You got it? So this way you can find out the sales of every salesman in your sales table. Got it? Okay, the next function what we'll see is countifs. What is countif? Countif function works in a manner similar to SUMIF. Now here it counts the number of cells in a given range when certain criteria are met. So it says like how many of the sales have crossed above 8,000? Like how many have passed? Okay, how many how many have got a score beyond 100? Okay, so when you want to count the number of cells which satisfy a particular criteria, count the number of, it's not sum here, it's count. How many of them satisfy this criteria? Then you have to go for countif. Okay, now what is countif? It counts the cells which satisfy a particular condition. Okay, so the formula is you give countifs criteria range. Okay, so here you give the criteria range where the net sales is the criteria you want to check. Okay, so countif okay, I'll just explain it with this. So criteria ranges H4 to the last row. Okay, so this is the criteria. Here you want to check how many sales is greater than 8,000. Okay, so the next one is the condition. So condition you give it within double quotes. So in this range from H4 to H1328, how many sales have crossed 8,000? Is greater than 8,000. Okay, so you first give the criteria range and then the condition. So around 445 sales is above 8,000. Okay. So you want to check the other condition. You want to see how much have crossed 10,000. Sorry. Okay, so how many have crossed 10,000? 251. Okay, so here you give the condition, okay, based on which you want to count the number of cells. Okay, so how many sales have crossed 5,000? 823. Okay, so first you give the criteria range and then the condition. So how many cells, how many rows of, how many salesmen have crossed the sales of 5,000? Okay, you can use count if function. Okay, now the next one, uh, you have percentile. Okay, now here you want to know the 40th percentile. For 40th percentile, like 40 percentage of the value, like what it means by here, 5,220 is, so 40 percentage of the sales is below 5,220. Okay, 40 percentage of the sales is below 5,220. Now I want to check it for 50 percentile. Here I give 0.5. So when you give percentile and the criteria range and percentile range, okay, it says 50 percentage of the value or 50 percentage of sales is below 6,190. You got it? Okay. So percentile value says how many percentage of the values are below the given value. Okay. So you want to identify the 20th percentile. Okay. So here you give 0.2. So it says that 2,906 values are below, sorry, 20 percentage of the values are below 2,906. Okay. So how do you find percentile? Simple. You give percentile, and then you give the range, and then you give what percentile you want. Okay. So here you want the 40th percentile, then you give 0.4, then it says how many below this. Okay, 40 percentage of the value is below 5,220. Okay, similarly you can understand the quartiles. Okay, so you have 25, 50, 75, 100, four quartiles. You want to know how many are below 25th quartile, the first quartile, second quartile, third quartile. Okay, then you can use quartile function. So you want to know how many values are below the first quartile. Here you select the criteria range and you give one. It says that 3,822. Okay, 25 percentage of the values sales is below 3,822. When you want to do it for second quartile, you give 2 over here. Third quartile, 4. Okay, 3, 4. So it can take the value of 1, 2, 3, 4 for different quartiles. Okay, so there's a percentile function, quartile function to analyze the sales. Fine. And to understand what is the standard deviation of the sales, you have standard deviation function equal to STD, standard deviation, and then you give the range. Okay, to understand what is the standard deviation of sales from the mean value. The standard deviation gives the deviation from the mean value, and you want to find out what is the mid value of sales. What is the mid value of sales? You have to use the median function. Okay, median of, you give the range. So here, this is the sales range. So median gives the mid value. So 6,192 is the exactly mid value of the sales. Okay. So these are all some of the descriptive analytics what you can perform with the functions that are available in the Excel. Okay. There are lots and lots of functions which are available in Excel. When you give equal to and give any letter, you could see there are lots of functions available in Excel, and you can use them for analytics. Okay. Fine. So till now we have seen how to format. Okay. So why do we format? your worksheet will have thousands of rows, but then when you give some color coding or some pattern or trending, then it will be easy for you to understand and get the insight quickly and make the decision quickly. That's why you do formatting. Okay. And then we saw about functions, okay, lookup functions and statistical functions. So advanced features or you have Power Pivot, Power View, Power Query. Okay, that will not be covering it today. Okay, so next thing what we'll be seeing is dashboarding. When I say dashboard, what comes to your mind first? Can someone answer so that am I audible to you all?
Yeah, ma'am, audible.
Yeah, thank you, Sushmita. Thank you for responding. So when I say dashboard, what comes to your mind first?
User interface. Right.
Very good. Boys, when I say dashboard, what comes to your mind first? Okay, can you give me some examples of dashboards? So you during the cricket matches, you would have seen dashboards. You in your car, you have a dashboard, isn't it? So what does it have? It says how much fuel is left, and it gives indication a red line when it crosses the limit. Okay, when you cross the limit speed, okay, there is a red line which indicates and gives warning. Okay, you have seen dashboards in your car, isn't it? Okay, that's actually basically to give a quick insight, okay, a visual representation of data, take quick insight and take some quick decision. Okay, so now what we're going to study is what is basically the dashboard, what is a good dashboard, how to create some interactive dashboards, okay, and how to use form controls in the dashboard is what we're going to see next. Okay, I'll take another 10 minutes and try to wind off. So as I said, it is a real-time tool, which is basically for easy understanding of data, visual representation of data for easy understanding and quick decision making. Okay, so it's a graphical presentation of data. Okay, it's a dashboard is where you graphically present the data so that the user can quickly understand and get some insights from the data. So when the dashboards are appropriately designed, it helps in quick decision making. It provides better coordination and uh, it records the performance of the outcome. So there are good database and bad database. Okay, you cannot use the bar chart for everything. You cannot use the pie chart for everything. Okay, you cannot use the line chart for everything. So the the chart should be appropriately used, and it should be pleasing to the user who is seeing that. Okay. So what is a good dashboard? So you should understand who the audience is. Are you going to present the data to the CEO level or the managerial level or the co-worker level? So you have to understand the audience and accordingly you have to make your graphs. Okay, when I say dashboard, it's now what they're seeing is the charts and the graphs. Okay, the visual representation of data is the dashboard, what we're talking about. Okay, the next thing is that when you want to design a good dashboard, you should know what is the key performance indicator. Okay, whether you're concentrating on sales, okay, there should be some key performance indicator and you should highlight that. Okay, so that your dashboards should give some meaning. Okay, just because you know to make a graph, you cannot make a graph without any insight drawn out of it. Okay, so the graph the should say what is the trend, how this sales have increased or how it is decreased. Okay, it should show some, it should give some insight. It's not just making a graph out of data, it should give some insight from the data. Okay, the next thing is that what type of dashboard are we creating, an operational or analytical or strategic. Okay, so it should be decided based on the target audience, whether you're going to present it for your higher level CEOs or whom are we going to do it. Okay, the type of dashboards. And basically the dashboards what you create, they should not be scrolling. Okay, they should not scroll, and one part should not be in one page, and it should not continue in the other page. Everything should be put together in one page. Okay, there should not be scrolling. It's better that you allow some drill down capabilities, okay, so that you can expand it more, okay, and get more insight. And then you can include actionable information so that the user can give some input and get the interactive graph out of it. Okay, so these are all some principles to follow when you design a good dashboard. So there are several charts that are available in Excel. You have line chart, column chart, bar chart, pie chart. Okay, you cannot use same line chart for everything. Okay, you cannot use bar chart for everything. The specific charts we have to use for specific data. Okay, so column chart will work when you have variety of data and when you want to compare these data amongst themselves. Okay, and you have to use line chart whenever you want to see a time series data. Okay, for analyzing the trend for time series you have to go for line chart, not for different categorical values. So whenever you have a kind of trend in your data or time series data, you have to go for line chart. And when you want to compare the proportion of each category, then you have to go for pie chart. Okay, how much percentage is gender is a female and how much was a male, and what is the percentage of age group under 10 age. And so when you want to know what is the proportion, okay, in a given category, then you have to go for pie chart. At that time, you should not go for column chart. Okay. And again, similar to column chart, bar chart is also when you have different categories of data, you have to go for bar chart. Okay. Okay, there's something called, so these are all the basic charts which you would have known. So I thought I would just introduce you to some new charts. Okay, now this is a thermometer chart. And what is a thermometer chart? Thermometer chart is used to represent data containing the actual value and the target value. So this chart shows how much you have achieved from the target. Okay, so this has the target value. Now here target is 100%, and this is what you have achieved, and this much more you have to achieve. Okay, so see, by looking at this graph, your boss will understand how much you are lagging from the target. You got it? So how can we draw this thermometer chart? I will just take you. One is already drawn. I'll just explain to you how we can draw this kind of chart. Okay. Now, the percentage. So based on the sales amount, the percentage of sales achieved is 87%. Okay. See here, there is something called as recommended chart. So when you don't know what chart to use, you can use this and get guidance on what chart you can use. Okay. Okay. Now we'll see how to draw this thermometer chart. Okay. Choose this clustered column. So make this gap width as 0. Just reduce it. So we are just formatting the axis. So here it has started from 0 to 8. Okay, to 1. I am just giving it from 8. Okay, so it is starting from minimum value is 80% and maximum value is 100. So the target achieved is around 87%. Target to be achieved is 100%. Okay. Now you can fill the rest. Maybe we can give a red color over here. I'm just giving a format and giving a red color over here. And then we'll fill the remaining with the black color. Okay. And then I'm just going to insert oval shape over here. I'm filling it again with the red color. The line also I'm filling it with the red color. And I'm just grouping this both together. Now this is a thermometer chart. So this is what you have achieved and this is what has to be achieved. Okay. So assume that now the sales for December is increased. So somewhere around 7. So here it is rising. Okay. Yeah, it is increasing. So your sales percentage is increasing and it is increasing towards the target. Okay. So this is a thermometer chart. Got it? Okay. Pareto chart. We'll see another chart called as Pareto chart. Contains both a column chart and a line graph. So here you have both column as well as line. Both are there. Okay. There's column as well as line. Okay. So how do we draw this kind of Pareto charts? It consists of both column chart and a line graph. So choose the data, insert, and over here you get the format and you want the frequency. Okay. So here you want the cumulative frequency as not clustered column, you want it to be as a line. Okay. So you're just giving a line over here and the others is a clustered column. I'll just remove this. So here you can have both the bar chart as well as the line chart by choosing the secondary axis. Okay, this is Pareto chart. Okay, we can also make it interactive. Okay, so there's something called as form controls in Excel. So most of your Excel may not have this developer tab. Okay, so you should actually go to this file and you should go for uh, options, and in options you have to go for this customize ribbon, and here there will be something called as developer. Okay, so that would not be enabled in your Excel, so just click this so that it will be appearing in your tabs over here. Okay, so just click this and then give OK, so which will give the developer tab over here, and until then you will not have this developer tab. Okay, so now you can include some control into your graph. Okay, so this developer has some form controls. So you could include a combo box, okay, or a list box or a radio button, okay, and change the graph accordingly. So here you could see you want to know there are three areas: north, west, and middle. Okay, so the sales of all the month throughout the north, west, and middle. So you want to just analyze the sales based on each and every area. So how do we do that? You can have a combo box like this. Okay, So when you choose north, it gives the sales of north. When you choose west, it gives the sales of west. When you choose middle, it gives the sales of middle. Okay. So how do we do that? You have this developer tab, and in the developer tab, you have all these form controls. Okay. So you want to choose any form. Okay. You can just choose the form and then just drag and drop it over here. Okay, you can drag and drop like this, and here you can give the values. Okay, you can edit the values, format control. You can give what values you want to list down over here. Okay, so assume that here you want to give northeast, you want to give northwest, middle, isn't it? So you just click, right click, format control, and the input range is northwest middle, isn't it? So choose that. I don't know why my key is not working. Okay, you have to choose this. Once you choose that, you have to choose this in the input range. And then for the cell link, you can give a value over here. So once you choose the range from here, when you drop down, you will get the values what you have given over here. Okay. So once you do that, you have to create another table where you include these rows. Okay, include these rows what you have chosen, and when you insert a chart based on this table, then you can change, you can interact based on the combo box value, and you can get the different values. Not only combo box, you can do the same thing with a different checkbox. Okay, instead of combo box, you can give checkbox. So you want to just know what is that for middle, then you just give middle. You want to know what is the sales for middle and west, you get click middle and west. You want to know the sales for north and west, you give the click that. Okay, you can give it as a scroll bar as well. Okay, I'm not getting into deep because I have not taught you about this offset function. Okay, you can go deeper with so many interactive charts as well. Okay, I would also like to show one very good interactive chart. This is a life expectancy chart. Okay, life expectancy chart of different countries. Um, like what is the life expectancy based on the income or for different countries. Okay, so when you give income, or you can give different parameters in the x-axis. Okay, whatever you want to give, you can give it over here. Um, okay, we'll give a first income uncheck. Okay, what is the life expectancy for different income? Okay, these are all different countries. So you just play, I'll play. So when the income is keep growing, you see that about okay, babies per woman. So when the number of babies per woman increased, see here you can see this is the year. So as the years are getting increased, okay, and the number of babies per woman is getting decreased, the life expectancy is increased to 80. Initially, during around 1821 and all, the number of babies were around 6 in South Korea. Okay, in China it was 5.5. So the life expectancy was around only 30 years. So maximum on an average a person lived only for 30 years. Okay, when it came to 1944, I think this is India. Average babies for women was around 5.9. That is 6 babies they had, and the average age when they died was 33.6. Okay, and as the years increased, you could see in around 2000 and all. We'll take India. The number of babies, average babies, was around 3, and the life expectancy increased to 63. Okay, and it goes on 2009, 2016, and all. You see, where is India? Okay, India. The number of babies per woman was around 2 only, and the life expectancy has increased to 69. Okay, so China has strictened it to number of babies to be 1, okay, and the life expectancy is seem to be increasing. So there seems to be some correlation between number of babies per woman and the life expectancy based on the graph what we see. Okay, so this all gives better under. These are all the interactive gives which gives better understanding. When we were changing income, there wasn't much change in the life expectancy, isn't it? So these are kind of interactive graphs which give you more insight, okay, on the data. So maybe based on this only, China decided, okay, we don't know. So it gives more insight to make better decisions and improvise on ourselves and improve on different aspects of lifestyle. Okay, so thank you. That's it. So I have covered what I wanted to cover. I gave you an introduction on what is analytics, different types of analytics, and how we can use Excel formatting functions and different statistical functions to give better insight. And then we saw about different graphs exclusively. I just taught how to draw a thermometer graph and paragraph, and then how to include form controls in Excel. Okay, sorry for taking a little more time. Thank you. Thanks for the opportunity given. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, ma'am. Really, we learned many things. Practically, which is very useful to upgrade our knowledge more in Excel, ma'am. Once again, thank you so much, ma'am.
Thank you.
We have given the feedback link in the chat box, student. Kindly enter the feedback after B vote of thanks. Now I call upon Mr. V. Yuvaraj, Assistant Professor, BSc IT, to deliver the vote of thanks.
Thank you. A warm and graceful evening to one and all gathered here. It's my privilege to propose a vote of thanks on this occasion. I, on behalf of Department of Computer Science, Ratnavel Subramaniam College of Arts and Science, extend most sincere thanks to our beloved Managing Trustee, Sir Dr. K. Sendil Ganesh, for his continuous support and encouragement. I would like to thank our Principal Sir, Dr. T. Shivakumar, and Vice Principal Sir, Dr. M.P. Ayapadas, for their continuous support and guidance. I would also like to thank our college DBT Star Scheme Coordinator, Dr. Dhanabalan Sir, for his continuous guidance and support. I extend a very hearty vote of thanks to the Chief Guest, Dr. A. Shamila Ebenezer, Assistant Professor, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Karunya Institute of Technology and Science, Coimbatore, who spared time from her busiest schedule to grace the occasion and have given wonderful hands-on online workshop on data analysis using Excel. Madam, once again, thanks a lot for accepting our invite and shared a wonderful knowledge in Excel to our students. My sincere thanks to our directors, heads of the departments, and all faculty members who graced the occasion by your presence. My heartfelt thanks to Dr. B. Jayanti, HOD, Department of Computer Science, and DBT Department Coordinator for organizing this event. Thank you, ma'am. I also extend thanks to Ms. Uttara, Assistant Professor of Computer Science, for her extraordinary support and cooperation in successful completion of the session. Thank you, ma'am. Special thanks to Mr. Vinit sir for his enormous support in invitation designing. Thank you, sir. A big thanks to Dr. S. Santana Megala, ma'am, for giving introduction about our today's chief guest. Thank you, ma'am. A big thanks to student Susmita towards prayer song and MOC of today's session. Thank you. Last but not least, I would like to thank all the student participants for your patient listening and gathering knowledge in Excel. Once again, thanks to one and all. Thank you.
Yuvraj sir, thank you.
Thank you, ma'am.
Students, kindly fill the feedback form, Kana. Ma'am, thank you, ma'am. Thanks a lot, ma'am.
Yeah, thank you, ma'am. Shall I leave?
Thank you, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Yes, ma'am. Thank you, ma'am. Thank you. Thank you.